Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Evening. Lucy's in first. So we had a good first show. I think we got about 160 already on it, so it's good. We had the X-Tier report. We had a half-hour Billy Bean on the first show. There was a couple of shootings, minor, earlier. Duke watching the tournament. Duke is getting lucky right here at the end of the game. It's a close game. Playing the last place team. Only winning by 2 points down the stretch. Hey, Flying Eagle. I was telling everybody, I don't know. I just like doing this. I just can't burn myself out. Keeps me out of trouble doing my shows. I spend time with Chico and go out for a little bit, come back. Chewing on his bone right now. So the last name that popped up in chat on the first show, Flying Eagle, I don't know if that was a troll or not. So listen, that one yesterday, I guess Lucy said that she had, it was crazy with the one yesterday we had. Well, it looks like Nick has a big video tonight. 22 minutes for them. We're going to play Trump's video with that one lady minister that came today, about 10 minutes, and then the TikTok lady's out with 2 of them tonight, and then yep. So I got quite a bit of good stuff again. Chico, you heard somebody outside the hallway. Oh, the other dog just got home. He's in the hallway. Chico, that's enough. He'll stop. Chico, come on, that's enough. Oh, stop it. Come on. Oh, poor baby. Oh, Chico. That's enough. Come on. Chico. Give a few more minutes here before hopefully you'll be settling down here. Hey, that's enough. That's enough. No, stop it. No. No. Come on, up. Come on, get up there. See, we get Terry and Samantha and all the regulars. Angie. Kay should be coming in. Oh, wait. I know where she's at. You know what tonight is, Flying Eagle? I think Kay's at her sister's or niece's her lobster tonight. That's right. Tonight's Thursday, so I don't know if she's gonna be in or not. Oh, hopefully she'll be in halfway through. Chico. That's enough. That is enough. Lay down. Okay, so we're going to put. That's enough, Chico. Lay down. Stop. You know what no means, Chico? Ah, what the heck?
Right. HELOC, monthly payments, credit score.
Surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan?
Something that I've learned the hard way over the last decade of doing this is that you get good Trump and bad Trump. And you just got to roll with it. And if you have the right mindset, then you can just sit back and kind of enjoy the hilarity of this moment. And, you know, things just tend to work out. There's ups and downs. Trump's got shot in the head. Mar-a-Lago got raided. Everybody got put in prison. And then you can sort of reverse the fates. And actually, you can laugh about some of those things, I guess. I mean, Trump seems to. And so just roll with it, right? Rolling with it is what President Trump's Japanese counterpart has done. Sanae Takachi is her name. She's the most popular prime minister in the history of Japan. She's the first female prime minister in the history of Japan. Look at what her party did. Her party is the green little bubbles here. This is the Japanese parliament. That is the most devastating election takeover in the history of Japan. She won 117 seats. She has 316 seats. The party that is her rival has 40. So landslide election. Why exactly? Well, she's a China hawk. She hates China. She demands that they protect Japanese culture. She's anti-immigration, like to an extreme, anti-feminism, and says, look at this, Japan will not take Islamists or illegal migrants or fake refugees. Japan is for the Japanese, she says. Ooh, what a great world we would have if every single leader said that about their country. America is for Americans. Germany is for Germans. Poland is for the Polish. China is for the Chinese. It's funny how like Africa's for the Africans, right? Like you can say it. It means the same thing for every country, but people are only offended about certain times when people say France is for the French. Oh, it's white people. Well, anyway, point is that she won, and Japan's first female prime minister is bulldozing in the Margaret Thatcher sort of vibe. She's also a heavy metal drummer.
Hey.
Okay.
Shut him out.
Headline goes incredibly hard. Sune Takahashi is Japan's first female prime minister. She's a heavy metal drummer and a hardline conservative. Boom. She's the most qualified. And she's also a heavy metal drummer. Here's what she says. She says she wants to deport all criminal migrants, ban asylum seekers, ban gender equality and diversity, and scrap Article 9 to rebuild a strong Japanese military. Cool. You can see why she's popular. Yeah. Believes marriage is between a man and a woman and plays in a heavy metal band. There you go. Well, anyway, the point is that she's at the White House today. And her and Donald Trump had a fun little press conference at the White House. And Donald Trump dropped a bomb on Sune Takahashi. Trump drops bomb, and the bomb is a Pearl Harbor joke. Pearl Harbor attack. Trump evokes Pearl Harbor attack while hosting Japanese prime minister. Who knows better about surprise attacks than Japan? Okay. Here we go. Trump dropped the funniest joke in the history of the presidency. Who's better about a surprise attack? What happened was the reporter says, why didn't you inform Japan about the attack on Iran? And Donald Trump says, well, what happens is you lose the element of surprise and Japan would know about that. Why didn't you warn me about Pearl Harbor? I guess Donald Trump maybe was around during Pearl Harbor. I mean, Trump was like, maybe he would have been like an infant, but he was alive. So here we go. Let's have a listen here.
Because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay, why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay, right? You know, he's asking me, do you believe in surprise? I think much more so than us. And we had to surprise him, and we did. And because of that surprise, we knocked out, the first 2 days, we probably knocked out 50% of what we, and much more than we anticipated doing. So if I go and tell everybody about it, there's no longer a surprise, right? Okay, one more for the Prime Minister.
Mr. President.
Are you good for the Prime Minister?
Yes, and for you too. Thank you very much. Japan's TJ Press. Japan's biggest concern is China.
Okay. Oh, man. And the Japanese reporter asks President Trump, why didn't you tell me about striking Iran? Let's listen to the question here.
Good friend, but one question, why didn't you tell U.S. allies in Europe and Asia, like Japan, about the war before attacking Iran? So we are very confused about Japanese citizens.
Well, one thing, you don't want to signal too much. You know, when we go in, we went in very hard, and we didn't tell anybody about it because we wanted surprise. Who knows better about surprise than Japan? Okay, why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Okay.
Oh, man. Oh, boy. Oh, it's so good. Holy smokes. Trump just dropped a nuke on Japan. Yikes. Why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? You believe in surprise way more than us. Eric Trump laughing hysterically at one of the best responses to a reporter in history. President Trump, why didn't you tell me about Pearl Harbor? Ooh. Trump might be the funniest moment in his entire presidency. Holy crap.
Got about 4 minutes.
This is White House communications director with the laughing emojis. How does he do it? Mr. President, why didn't you tell Japan about the Iran war? Who knows better about surprise attack than Japan? How does, in fact, he do it? Oh my gosh. It's like he had it written and ready. Easily one of the top 20 funniest moments. Probably one of the top funniest moments in the history of the presidency.
Wish you had a professional business address and phone number instead of your home address and personal number? Are you looking to register your business using an address?
Got him. Okay. President Trump to Prime Minister Takashi. It looks like one of your people over there. Is he a good or a bad reporter? Some say he's so-so. He looks like a nice guy. Okay. So Takashi's in on it. President Trump of the United States. He's president of the United States garbage man, McDonald's line cook, stand-up comedian, giving Marco Rubio a run for his money. This is actually very funny and peak Trump. He does kind of have a point. President Trump also saying there will be no boots on the ground in Iran. I think also a critical part of this press conference, something that also made news and good, obviously, as far as we're concerned, something that's critical for the MAGA movement and something that you've got to roll out. I want them to wrap up the Iranian operation as quickly as possible, right? Got it. Got inflation prices, gas prices, home prices. That has to be the focus. So, President Trump, no boots on the ground in Iran. Good. Here we go.
Do you intend to lift sanctions on Iranian oil, and do you intend to potentially put U.S. troops or more troops in the region?
No, I'm not putting troops anywhere. If I were, I certainly wouldn't tell you. But I'm not putting troops, and we will do whatever is necessary to keep the price as well. I actually thought when I did this, look, the Dow just hit 50,000 a couple of weeks ago. They said that couldn't happen for 4 years. It wouldn't happen in my term. It's such an outrageous thing because I said it would happen. I didn't know it was going to happen that fast, but it just hit 50,000, and we did that in 1 year, not 4. S&P had just hit 7,000. They said that was even more impossible than the Dow hitting 50, and we did that in 1 year. So it's all done. Everything was going great. The economy was great. Oil prices were very low. Gasoline was dropping to, I mean, we had $1.99, $1.85. We had great everything. And I saw what was happening in Iran, and I said, I hate to make this excursion, but we're going to have to do it. And I actually thought the numbers would be worse. I thought that it would go up more than it did. But we're doing this excursion, and when it's completed, we're going to have a much safer world. And the prime minister agrees with me on this. She considers it to be terrible what Iran did. I think every country does, just about every country does. Iran is a serious threat to the world, to the Middle East and to the world. And everybody agrees with me. I think virtually every country agrees with me on that.
Okay, Benny, what, she was a Japan minister?
Unidentified drones that were flying over Fort McNair, where Marco Rubio and Pete Hegseth reside. So there's talk now of relocating them. They have not figured out where the drones came from. I'm sure they'll find out that pretty damn fast, but that's what's happening right now. Also, Trump has stated this morning with the meeting with the Japanese prime minister that he doesn't have plans to put boots on the ground over in Iran with our guys. However, if he did, he's not going to tell everybody about it, right? So for all of you liberals that's on here that I see your stupid ass post fretting and chewing on your damn fingers, hollering about he's about to do the draft, he's about to do the draft. Well, first of all, I can't do math or maps. But I will tell you this, I do have enough sense to know that if you have wiped out a complete Navy and a complete Air Force of a country, and you have just about demolished every leader. In fact, any leader they take is just a temp position. Why the hell do we need a draft? We got enough military to handle that, okay? I mean, that's not really hard to figure out. Also, did anybody catch the meeting this morning with Trump and the Japanese prime minister? Oh my gosh. So she absolutely adores President Trump. But let me tell you something. One of her reporters opened his stupid little mouth and it got real awkward real fast. You should have seen the look that she gave that reporter. In fact, I'm going to post it right here for y'all. That's exactly how she looked at him. So Trump was like, oh, let's let this beautiful person right here answer a question, which was one of the Japanese reporters. And he goes, basically, I'm going to sum it up. I can't say it word for word, but this is what he basically said is, hey, President Trump, why didn't you tell Japan that you were going to do this to Iran? Why did you leave us out? Why would you do this? Guys, you know what Trump says? Why didn't you tell us about Pearl Harbor? Oh, my God. The whole room just goes, and the Japanese prime minister is still looking at that reporter like, President Trump, you are the GOAT. You are the man. You hear me? And it might have been awkward, but you're right all the time. So, guys, that's what we have right now. Oh, second thing, did you hear about the missing military man that is 64 years old that left his keys, his wallet, his cell phone, and everything, basically walked out his door to go for a walk and has not been seen since February in New Mexico?
Yeah, we saw that.
He was associated with the
yesterday.
UFO. Oh gosh, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, he was ex-military. He talked about UFOs. He was kind of involved in it and said that they existed and all this stuff. How about he just fucking disappears? Like nobody's seen him, not near, nor hide, nor there. Nor hide, nor tail, nor near, nor hide, nor whatever I'm trying to say. Anyway, I think it's really weird. He went missing. Nancy Guthrie hasn't been found. I mean, what the heck is going on? Hey guys, have you heard about the
Another good one. I got one more. Chico, settle down, please.
report? Do you remember the 3 protesters that Iran said that they were going to hang publicly in front of everybody about a month and a half ago, right before the war started? And President Trump said, you better not do it. They just hung them. They just hung those 3 people. Israel is basically calling for the people in Iran to take to the streets and take over Iran. So I think that things are about to really heat up in the city. It is just a mess right now, just a complete mess. I cannot believe they went ahead and hung those 3 people. They are so fucking vicious and spiteful, and I hope that we wipe them all out. There's talk of Marines going to some islands. The good news is the islands are not going to be a problem for us. They have Americans on them, from what I'm understanding. It's not going to be that big of a deal, but it's still a mess. They're already targeting their own oil refineries and blowing up everything, trying to screw with our oil and energy. And for all of you that think that we don't get our oil from Iran, so it doesn't matter, it fucking matters. It matters a lot. It screws with everything when that happens, okay? It affects the whole world. So, guys, keep your fingers crossed that things are going to end here soon, okay? Good afternoon.
Okay, 2 good ones again from her today. We got this one here with Trish.
Until I finally got one. The UN,
7 minutes.
the United Nations is freaking out because the president of the United States has just said, well, you just showed your hand. Maybe we don't need you anymore. Oh, yeah, that was the latest and greatest some, 20 hours ago. And so what do you know? Actually, this was 12 hours after the president said this. You had the head of the UN saying, no, we're working on it. We're working on it. We're going to get some troops over there. We're going to get some fortification over there to help out in Iran. We're just figuring it out. I mean, what a difference a few hours makes after the president said, well, I'm going to show you. But first, over to the head of the UN.
Of the ballistic missiles, of the nuclear capability is severely degraded. When it comes to the Strait of Hormuz, I've been in contact with many allies. We all agree, of course, that strait has to open up again. And what I know is that allies are working together, discussing how to do that. What is the best way to do it? They're working on that collectively to find a way forward.
There.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's very different than we want no part of this. Didn't I just play some sound from the guy who runs the UK just the other day, like saying this is your problem, not ours? Like, I mean, we've heard Spain say, hey, we don't want any part of this, right? Spain's like, this is your war, Trump. We're not signing up for any of this, but I'm sorry, Spain, you're part of NATO. I'm sorry, UK, you're part of NATO. You guys have been our allies. We've been over there breaking our backs on helping you out with Ukraine. And that's the thanks we get. I think the president's like, well, they really showed their true colors. And here's the problem with that. Even John Bolton knows that this is very dangerous. It's like somebody paid attention to what Bolton was saying. Maybe Bolton called them. He's like, you guys are on thin ice. You're going to lose all your money for Ukraine. Like, none of it's happening if you continue with this. Listen to John Bolton, who used to run the NSC. Here he is speaking on CNN about how this gives the president carte blanche to just say, all right, sayonara. I don't need to pay for anything in Ukraine. Here we go.
But I will say, I think the Europeans make a mistake by responding to that kind of juvenile behavior with juvenile behavior of their own. A number of European leaders, including Kaja Kallas, the European Union's chief foreign policy official, have said expressly, Iran is not our war. That's a very dangerous way to put it, because it invites Donald Trump. It almost teases him to come back and say, well, okay, Iran is not your war. Ukraine is not our war. It's very dangerous to approach Trump in the same way he behaves.
Exactly. Okay. And by the way, that was Trump's conclusion just 12 hours ago or so here. Let me go back to the Oval Office where the president spoke about his disappointment in these NATO countries. Watch.
All of the NATO allies agreed with us, but they don't want to, despite the fact that we help them so much, we have thousands of soldiers in different countries all over the world, and they don't want to help us. We don't need help. That war has been long prosecuted, as far as I'm concerned, almost from day one. We knocked out many of these things. We knocked out the Navy essentially in a couple of days. But I was surprised to see that NATO, while they agreed that it was a very important thing to do, they agree fully. Nobody said, oh, you shouldn't do it. They would have had a nuclear weapon within 1 month of when we had the B-2 bomb, the nuclear potential. They call it the nuclear dust. NATO's making a very foolish mistake. And I've long said that, I wonder whether or not NATO would ever be there for us. So this was a great test, because we don't need them, but they should have been there.
Yeah, like they should have. And they weren't. And we don't forget things like this. So why are we part of this alliance? By the way, the president, he was out on Truth Social last night speaking about this very thing and sort of saying, I don't need you, which is why you have the head of the NATO organization trying to come out today, so trying to cover himself, saying, all right, we're working on it. We're working on it, Mr. President. You're working on it. I don't think so. You guys have made this really, really clear. You're super, super anti-Semitic. I mean, Spain kind of takes the cake on that one. And the UK is not far behind, and they have, the number one name, if you want to get elected in the UK right now, I guess you got to appeal to a certain group. It's like Minnesota. The number one name for new babies is Muhammad. Number one or number two. I mean, you can see which way the wind is blowing. So they've kind of lost control of the situation. They got an obvious problem in France because in France, they had colonized places that had Muslim faith years ago and now offer them citizenship. And so they figured out how badly that is going for them. And so all the politicians there as well are left trying to figure out how to salvage this. And when the US comes out with a bold action like this, they don't know quite what to do. Anyway, the president actually put something out. Let me see if I can find it for you on Truth Social, where he was sort of saying, like, who needs them, right? Who the heck needs them? Because they're not willing to do anything for us at all. And so this is the tenor of the conversation right now. I think that Europe is going to kind of have to come around. He's also sort of saying, yeah, Japan, he's meeting with them on Thursday. Japan, you all want to support us. You want us to support you. But then when push comes to shove, you're nowhere. And we got tens of thousands of troops, like 40, 50,000 over there protecting you. So does this work both ways? Maybe he'll get a little more money out of it. Maybe we can charge a little bit more for all of our quote unquote protection, since it's clearly only one way protection. Unbelievable. Hey, quick shout out to my other company, 76 Research. We've been killing it over there. I hope to goodness you guys are subscribed to this. I hope you're getting the model portfolios, because I love it. If you were up the way these stocks, look at that, up 139% in our materials pick. We had a recent stock pick. We added to 2 portfolios, just a fantastic play on AI, up 124% since we added it just about 4 weeks ago or so. So if you can, please go over. I'm going to put it in the live chat as I speak. https://76research.com. Use code $, so that you get it for $1 a month for the first 2 months. But again, it's not just the 76 report you need to be looking at, but all of those portfolios, because they're dynamite. And I want you to have access to that.
I'm not really a cupcake, but I am super baked, thanks to Mood Can.
Mood is third-party test.
All right, that was the first one on Trish. Fine Eagle, I got an interesting one here, 5 minutes. So let me know if it's safe and okay to play.
The biggest company in the world. This is the story of a robot called Aladdin. It's Wall Street's best kept secret, and it's gobbling up every asset class across every industry. Aladdin now controls $21 trillion of our global economy. To put that in perspective, that's more than the $20 trillion GDP of the US, or the $15 trillion GDP of the entire European Union. The New Statesman wrote, the total physical cash of all 7 billion people and every company, bank vault, wallet, and piggy bank in the world is around $5 trillion. Aladdin has grown into a system responsible for more than 4 times the value of all the money in the world. This one robot directs the actions of the US Federal Reserve, almost every major bank and investment fund on Wall Street, and over 17,000 traders. It controls half of all ETFs, 17% of the bond market, 10% of the global stock market, and carries out 250,000 trades every day and billions of forecasts every week. Year after year, it hoovers up trillions of data points on every market, every company, every asset, and now even each of us, what we buy, sell, and say, so that it knows what to buy and what to sell far better than any human being. Every major bank, company, and investment fund has come to rely on Aladdin and its all-powerful AI and algorithms to beat the market. And if they didn't, they've collapsed and failed in Aladdin's wake. And you know what the craziest part of this story is? This robot is just getting started. So where did Aladdin come from, and how did it get so powerful? Aladdin is the brainchild of Larry Fink, the founder of BlackRock, and its total dominance has made his company the biggest shadow bank in the world and the most powerful company on earth. The story you're about to hear is equally unbelievable and terrifying. In fact, you would think it was science fiction if it wasn't very real and happening today. This story starts in the 1980s when Larry Fink was making millions pioneering mortgage-backed securities at Wall Street Bank First Boston. That's right, the same mortgage-backed securities that caused the 2008 global financial crisis 20 years later. But back in the 80s, he was in an epic Wall Street rivalry with Louis Ranieri at Salomon Brothers, made famous as the big swinging dick in Michael Lewis's book, Liar's Poker. Back then, Larry was making millions for the bank and was on track to be First Boston's CEO. And then in 1986, an error in the back office computer models led to Larry making the wrong trades, and he lost cost the company $100 million. The result was Larry leaving the bank as a failure with a stupid computer to blame. With that experience, Larry had just one ambition: to build a super smart robot that could pick out risk and opportunity in the market and do it better than any computer or human could do. In 1988, he launched a new startup, BlackRock, with a tiny coding team to give birth to this robot. Its name, Aladdin, which stands for Asset, Liability, and Debt Derivative Investment Network. In its first 10 years, Aladdin was fed information about every asset, price movement, and risk variable in the global bond market, Larry's specialty. And in 1999, when Aladdin turned 11, Aladdin was getting so intelligent at picking losers and winners that Larry began selling access to its data to other Wall Street firms. That same year, he took BlackRock public on the New York Stock Exchange. Straight after the IPO, the dot-com bust burst, pushing a wall of money from the stock market to bonds, which Aladdin had become the undisputed world champion in. Within years, BlackRock had become $1 trillion company, and as they started shifting back to shares, what did Larry do? He bought the asset management arm of Merrill Lynch, which was focused to shares. So the gift for Aladdin's 18th birthday, all the data points for the entire stock market, and suddenly Aladdin had a new playground, analyzing every stock trade and risk factor for every company on the stock market. As a result, today BlackRock, together with his two closest rivals, Vanguard and State Street, both of which also rely on Aladdin's mountain of knowledge, have become the biggest shareholders of over 40% of all public listed companies in America. 2008, the global financial crisis hits, and before Aladdin turns 21 years old, is called on by every Wall Street bank and Timothy Geithner, the head of the Federal Reserve and the US Treasury. As soon as Lehman Brothers collapsed and the Wall Street meltdown began, the US government came calling to save the next collapsing bank, Bear Stearns. It was Aladdin who decided which assets to keep and which to leave in the $30 billion rescue package. And few people know it was a robot that saved America from disaster. With that first success, the Fed, US government, and now even European and Japanese central banks began relying on Aladdin to make the calls on where the $2.5 trillion of new money they printed should go. The majority of it, bonds and funding to prop up the mortgage companies and banks. But wait, aren't these exactly the assets that Aladdin and BlackRock already were invested in? Exactly. But growing protests of conflict of interest were drowned out by the noise of the printing presses printing more money, as the assets controlled by Aladdin rapidly grew to $11 trillion by 2013. In the last decade, Aladdin has gone from the leader to the dominator of all financial markets. With BlackRock's Barclays acquisition, it got iShares, Barclays Exchange Traded Funds Units, or ETFs. And with that, Aladdin moved from dominator of bonds and equities to dominator of ETFs, just as all the biggest investors shifted from mutual funds to ETFs. And that's when, in 2017, everything changed. On Aladdin's 29th birthday, Larry launched a top secret project at BlackRock, codenamed Monarch. It led to the firing of his fund managers and replacing their funds with Aladdin's funds. The robot was now eliminating humans from the equation altogether. And as a result, today, over 70% of all trades on US stock markets are decided by robots, with Aladdin leading the way. These trades are completed from beginning to end without a human involved, in high-frequency trading far faster than a human can execute. Now, if this was just a story about a robot taking over the job of Wall Street traders, you might not be so concerned, unless you're one of those traders. But in the last 3 years, as Aladdin hit $20 trillion in assets, incredibly, it has begun to consume and control at an even faster rate. First, in 2020, as Aladdin turned 32 years old, the US government and Federal Reserve again came calling as the pandemic hit. Aladdin was again the one to guide the nation in what was now $4 trillion of newly printed money. Where did the money go this time? Inexplicably, for the first time, the Fed began buying ETFs in 2020. Well, that's a little strange. And again, the cries of conflict of interest were drowned out by the money printing. And then Aladdin revealed its endgame. Recently, BlackRock acquired eFront, which collects data on the things that you and I own, including private equity and real estate. And since then, Aladdin has consumed eFront's data on the entire global real estate market. And yep, you guess what happened next. Over the last 2 years, BlackRock and other funds using Aladdin's data have begun buying up single-family homes, where they can afford to outbid the rest of us as they have unlimited financing at hyper-low interest rates. The result is home prices rising by 20% over the last 2 years and pushing now even big players like Zillow out of the market. And here we see Aladdin's endgame, to be the one hyper-intelligent AI robot that not just controls Wall Street assets, but all assets, public and private. Now, I'm not into conspiracy theories, but even a skeptic with eyes wide open can see the signs. We're already at a point where no one can compete without Aladdin. As CEOs and asset managers like Anthony Malloy are now saying, Aladdin is oxygen. Without it, we wouldn't be able to function. And what about government regulation? Well, Joe Biden has appointed BlackRock executive Brian Deese as head of the National Economic Council, which basically means the oversight of Aladdin and BlackRock is now the responsibility of BlackRock. And Biden has also appointed BlackRock Chief of Staff, Wally Adeyemo, to be Assistant Secretary of the Treasury, which means BlackRock is now the Treasury as well as the Treasury Advisor. And this story is far from over. The genie is out of the bottle. And Aladdin has already reached a tipping point where one robot controls more wealth than any person or country. But as Aladdin's AI capabilities continue to grow, and with its rate of control rising by another $1 trillion to $2 trillion in new assets every year, it looks inevitable that Wall Street's secret weapon could end up owning everything, and we end up owning nothing. So what do you think? Are you indifferent, surprised, angry, afraid, or have a different point of view? And if you found this interesting, if not a little alarming, before you go, do subscribe so I can...
So what do you guys think of that video? I thought that was an important one. I wasn't sure the whole thing. Yeah, let's play this 7-minute one. I believe it's 7, almost 8.
My name is Philip Calais. I'm from West Baton Rouge Parish. The spelling is PHILIPCALLAIS. I serve on the Board of Election Supervisors in West Baton Rouge Parish. This lawsuit that we're filing today is because our ballots cannot be counted publicly. Our Constitution states that ballots should be counted publicly. It's a secret ballot and remain inviolate until all disputes are settled. That's Article 11, Section 2. That's impossible. We only have an electronic digital signal. There's no actual ballot.
Here's another
I
one.
serve on the board, and I cannot determine voter intent. Only on the absentee ballot. When there's a recall on the election, all it can do is look at the absentee ballot. So with that, the majority of our election it's impossible to adjudicate or recount or any of that sort of thing, language that you might want to use. But that's generally what the lawsuit's about. And Christy, you have something that you wanted to say on the...
Let's let Jeff talk.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'm Jeff Wittenbrink. I'm an attorney here in Baton Rouge representing Mr. Calais, and he has succinctly pointed out the main characteristics of our lawsuit. The fact of the matter is Louisiana is the only state in the union that presently has the voting by the entire state on direct recording equipment without any kind of means or method of a recount. We cannot do a recount. We cannot do a sufficient audit of any kind. And we've had to have elections done over again because there are close elections in these times. Up in Shreveport just about a year ago, they had to do the sheriff's election all over because the only thing they could recount was absentee ballots. And so presently, we're coming up on very important elections in November. The elections we're presently conducting are not constitutionally constituted, and that's what we want to change.
Jeff, spell your name.
I'm sorry, it's Wittenbrink, Jeff Wittenbrink, Wittenbrink. Thank you.
Are you ready?
Yes, ma'am. And say and spell your name.
Good morning. My name is Christy Hike, CHRISTYHAIK. I am a committee woman on the Republican State Central Committee. I am also a committee woman on the Republican Parish Executive Committee, and I'm the president of Louisiana Republican Assembly, as well as a co-founder of Louisiana Citizens for Election Integrity. We have a unique situation here in Louisiana in that we are one of the few states currently in need of a new voting system. And our Secretary of State is on the pathway to get new voting machines for us, even though our president has come out against voting machines and said twice in as many months in front of our governor that he does not want voting machines. He wants hand-marked secure paper ballots. And voting machines, he said, would cost, paper ballots would cost 8% of what machines would. So there really is no more plausible deniability for the fact that that is what our president wants: paper ballots, hand-marked secure paper ballots, counted at the precinct level with results delivered election night. Our European counterparts all do this with great results. And I know we're as smart as our European counterparts. One other thing, that we have our own version in Louisiana of the SAVE Act. That was enacted in the legislative session in the 2024 session. And by request of our Secretary of State, she asked for it not to be enacted until January of the following year, 2025. It's on the books, but it's not enacted. There is no process, no procedure to prove that anyone voting in Louisiana is indeed a citizen of the United States. So I question that as well. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
How are y'all doing this morning? Good. Chris Alexander, Louisiana Citizen Advocacy Group. I just wanted to reiterate what Ms. Hike said about one of the components of this lawsuit, which is the law in Louisiana requiring the Secretary of State to verify independent proof of U.S. citizenship when someone's registering to vote in Louisiana. There's a very good reason for this law, obviously. So if the Secretary of State can hear us now, please enforce the law. Establish an independent mechanism to verify whether people registering to vote are in fact U.S. citizens. And if they're not, don't allow them to vote in our elections. It's very simple. Thank you.
Thank y'all for coming. Appreciate it.
Anything else?
Yeah.
We have one.
Absolutely.
Talk about in this, like what like stage are y'all at in this?
So we previously filed the lawsuit. The judge dismissed it on an exception. The Court of Appeal reversed the judge, told us to go ahead and refile and serve the Attorney General. They had just passed it. They had just passed a new statute requiring any kind of challenge to the Constitution to be served on the Attorney General. So we're serving the Attorney General this time. I think she might be on our side. Thank you very much.
J.C. Harmon, representing the New Orleans branch of the LRA, the Louisiana Republican Assembly. And I just want to speak in relation to the election. One of the big deals from voting was the breakup of the parishes in SB 8, which is our present map. The present map has 16 parishes split. It has 2 of the parishes split twice, which gives us a total of 18 splits on the parish, which makes the voting rolls very convoluted since we've got the new maps. And what we're looking for is a map that we have 6 districts. There is no reason that you should draw a map with more than 3 or 4 splits, and it's the maximum deviation between the splits, which is the amount of Republican to Democratic offset in the districts, should not exceed 30. And the present map, the deviation is 36. So the map we have, or the state of Louisiana is living with, is a disaster. I drew a map that has 1 split and a maximum deviation close to 20. And that's what we should be working for.
Okay, that was Louisiana Congress. All right, Chico. We hear you. You guys seen this one?
Happened on Bill Clinton's last day in office, January 20th, 2001. Bill Clinton's final hours as President of the United States. While America watched the inauguration of George W. Bush, Clinton was signing pardons, 140 of them in a single day. Mark Rich topped the list, a billionaire commodities trader who fled to Switzerland after being indicted on 51 counts of tax evasion and illegal oil deals with Iran during the hostage crisis. One of the most wanted financial fugitives in America. Clinton pardoned him anyway. Rich's ex-wife, Denise, had donated over $1 million to Clinton's presidential library in the Democratic Party. Federal investigators and members of Clinton's own party called it one of the most blatant abuses of presidential pardon power in American history. The FBI opened an investigation. It quietly dissolved. Mark Rich died a free man in Switzerland in 2013. His donations stayed in the library. So tell me, when a presidential pardon follows $1 million donation, what exactly is the difference between that and a transaction? What if one of the most corrupt acts in American
Okay.
Reviewing his notes with the practiced focus of a man who'd spent decades in law enforcement. Adam Schiff approached the microphone with the confidence of a prosecutor about to destroy a right-wing conspiracy theorist. He had no idea that in 42 minutes his political career would be in ashes. Again. Some people never learn you don't attack a man who has access to every file, every record, every buried secret in Washington. The Senate Judiciary Committee hearing on FBI oversight was supposed to be routine. Democrats would grandstand about political weaponization. Republicans would defend the Bureau, and everyone would go home for lunch. But Adam Schiff had other plans. Deputy Director Bongino. Schiff began his voice dripping with theatrical disdain. Before we discuss FBI oversight, I think the American people deserve to know how a podcaster, a YouTube personality who was banned for spreading misinformation, somehow became the second highest ranking official in our nation's premier law enforcement agency. Bongino looked up from his notes, his expression neutral. 25 years of law enforcement had taught him to let the target talk. The more they talked, the more rope they gave you. I mean, Schiff continued, warming to his theme. Your qualification seems to be that you were good at what? Yelling into a microphone. Selling supplements. Perhaps you could explain to this committee what exactly qualifies you to oversee federal investigations, other than your willingness to parrot conspiracy theories. A few Democratic senators chuckled. Schiff was playing to the cameras as always. He leaned back, satisfied with his opening salvo. Bongino slowly removed his reading glasses, cleaned them with deliberate care, and put them back on. When he spoke, his Brooklyn accent was thick but controlled. Senator Schiff, thank you for that colorful introduction. Before I address your characterization of my career, I'd like to clarify something. You asked about FBI oversight, correct? That's why we're here, Schiff said smugly. Outstanding. Then let's discuss oversight. Bongino opened a thick folder marked with FBI letterhead, starting with the FBI's oversight of you. The smile vanished from Schiff's face. Excuse me? You see, Senator, when you demand testimony from the FBI about our operations, you open the door to discussing all our operations, including... Bongino pulled out a document. The FBI deputy director sat calmly at the window.
Hey, Dan, talking about watermelon. In about 9 minutes.
Home tap, home equity investment. Hey, go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you these stories every day. Now, y'all, Baltimore's Inspector General, that's the person who is in charge of reviewing all of the books and the spending and making sure everything is copacetic. She's coming out saying it looks like there's some dirty deeds happening, y'all. I'm not going to do a long lead in. We're going to get right into this because this is crazy. This is wild. And things are really heating up. Let's go ahead. So fraudulent invoices, y'all, data breaches, and all of this comes on top of the previous report about, I don't know, was it $1 million? Was it more of spending by the Baltimore mayor, Mr. Scott? On top of all of that $1 million of spending that was questionable, that was opaque, that the inspector general really couldn't investigate. We're going to loop into that at the end of this video, but let's continue on. What about these fraudulent invoices? And you're going to hear from Mayor Scott as he addresses these allegations coming up, y'all.
Well, Mayor.
Y'all, what I always try to do is I try to put myself in the position of the politician, if possible. So I think, what if I were running a city and maybe there were some rogue elements out there doing things in a way they shouldn't have been doing them. And then I get this pesky reporter. You remember, y'all remember Scooby-Doo? I would have gotten away with it if it wasn't for you pesky reporters. You get a pesky reporter like, hey man, what's up with all these fraudulent invoices and the data breach and all of the spending that looks like it might be wasteful, at best wasteful, if not fraudulent. And then, I try to put myself in his shoes, but I don't know. I guess you also can put yourself in the position of, hey, the buck stops here. I'm the mayor. If this happened on my watch, then I have. So yeah, y'all, things are not looking good for Mayor Scott. I'm gonna loop into a previous report about $1 million worth of spending, y'all, that Mayor Scott has been called to task for, taking people on lavish dinners, getting a skybox at sporting events, y'all, just different things that people said, hey man, you shouldn't be spending our money on that. And also don't forget, a lot of the spending, the inspector general, she's like, I can't even tell what this was. She's subpoenaing the information. The mayor's office like, we're not gonna tell you. She's like, hey, who you send this cash app to? Not gonna tell you. Hey, this is blacked out. Can you tell me what you spent this money on? No. So the mayor's office has actually, according to the inspector general, they've been resistant to even working with her to understand the books and the spending. And because I have to say it, y'all, everything used in this video is under fair use for news, commentary, and of course, your education.
I've been the Inspector General for 8 years. This is the first.
Baltimore City Inspector General Isabel Cumming is taking a step she's never had to before, filing suit against the mayor's office and city council to enforce a subpoena she says went unanswered. Last month, hundreds of pages of redacted documents from the mayor's Office of Safety and Engagement were supplied to her office.
Here I got records that were completely blacked out. I couldn't even follow a cash app, $500 cash app. What's blacked out is who got the money. So this unfortunately is what had to happen in order to do my job.
In a previous statement, the mayor's office noted that it is not feasible for the IG to seek legal recourse in her official capacity.
So there you see that the inspector general is suing your boy. Yeah, you got a new boy, y'all. Now, a local news channel. Now, that is the unknown spending. That's like, yo, where did this money go? So the inspector general can't even figure it out. But there's also, as I said, what might be considered wasteful spending. Now, we're going to get into the numbers about what was spent on what a little bit later. But let's get to where a local news channel called him out in public about the wasteful spending as well.
How do you expect taxpayers in Baltimore City to be okay with how your office is spending their money? And do you believe that you owe them an apology for how their dollars are being spent?
Thank you for your question, Mackenzie. I think we have to be very clear about this, right? We're not talking about money that was spent inappropriately. As I said to your station last week, we're talking about people who skip protocol points, right?
We followed up with the mayor for more clarity. Do you believe, even if it's been going on, is that an appropriate use of taxpayer dollars? And then also, though, I know that your office spent nearly $4,000 on a goodbye party for somebody who never left and is still making almost $200,000. Why is that okay?
Yeah, I think, Mackenzie, we know that you guys want to make this out to be something that is not. Again, it's not just the city of Baltimore. The state of Maryland has skyboxes and have had them forever. And again, you're harping on this small amount of money, which you heard again. Nothing illegal was done here.
But is it appropriate?
If it's not illegal, then it's appropriate.
Do you think that's okay for tax dollars to be spent on it?
I think it's okay for us someone who has spent money to have young people who have never been in that stadium before, who have never gotten invited before, who would have never had the opportunity to be there to do that, for people, for first responders, for people who clean up trash. Absolutely. So no matter what you guys are going to try to twist this into, absolutely, we're going to continue to make sure that actual residents can enjoy that ability to be in that spot and those skyboxes. That's all I have to say.
What
And just run what I said earlier. My response is what I gave you earlier.
So you have the unknown spending that the inspector general is going after. And then you have these items where it's like, yeah, you didn't have to spend money on that. So when it comes to what we don't know, the mayor's office, according to the inspector general, remember, y'all, she filed that lawsuit. Apparently, the mayor's office is being very uncooperative as to giving them the information that they're looking for. So they're basically saying, we're not going to give you that information. So now she has to sue them to try to get it from them, y'all. And the mayor's office is actually saying, yo, you can't sue us. So does that sound familiar, y'all? Does that sound like any other offices across the country that you might have heard about?
Mayor Brandon Scott has previously commended the Inspector General's work, but said his office has to comply with state law. He points to a letter from the Attorney General's office suggesting that IGs are subject to Maryland Public Information Act exemptions for sensitive information. The AG's office, however, has said that letter is not a formal opinion and was not intended to determine how any particular office should operate.
This is actually the public's lawsuit. I am just fighting for them as I try as much as I can to do.
The lawsuit argues the chilling effect created by the city's efforts cannot be understated, pointing out about a third of the investigations conducted since 2018 would not have been possible if the office was subject to the state's public record laws.
So yeah, y'all, it looks like Mayor Brandon Scott is under a lot of pressure right now. Of course, this would be a huge scandal if some of these allegations were true. But as of right now, y'all, we just don't know. He seems to be pretty confident that he didn't do anything wrong. So we will have to wait for all of the cards to fall, all of the chips to fall where they may, and then we can draw our conclusions, y'all. But what do you think? Do you think that he's up to dirty deeds, or do you think somebody in his administration has been doing something wrong? Or do you think maybe sloppy bookkeeping? What do you think actually happened here?
Okay, we got Baltimore Congress people on that one. So Florida's next. Fine, Eagle. Let me know if I should play this one. There's 15. I'm not sure what good or not.
Fine, the Jew made it a 5-year hate crime for talking about Jewish supremacy. Flew to Israel with Ron DeSantis to take away Americans' First Amendment. Okay, this should be tried for treason. With that being said, my name is John Minadio. My online moniker is Handsome Truth. I am the founder of GlamTV.com and the co-founder of GTVFlyers.com. I'm a free speech activist and a pro-white activist. I stand up for white people, and I don't care what names people call me. Tonight, I will discuss with you my disgust I have with the current state of affairs in this country. It is time to put down the Netflix. It is time to put down the sports ball. And it's time to get sober and wake the heck up to what has happened to our nation and who is behind the falling of America. Paul Revere once warned and said, the British are coming. The British are coming. Well, today, I'm here to warn, the Jews are here. The Jews are here, and they're here to destroy us. We always talk about spreading democracy to all these third world countries. Well, why aren't we doing anything for our European cousins who are being jailed for hate speech laws? By the way, did you guys know that it's illegal in 17 countries to question the Holocaust? 17 countries in Europe, you can be thrown in jail. That's coming to the United States next, and I'm proof of that, okay? Who is pushing this message? Who owns the damn media in this country? When I ask people in real life this question, most reply with, I don't know, the government? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm here today to deliver some shocking facts. This 2% minority, Jewish minority, would you trust them owning our media in this country?
No, it's time's up.
Do something about it, fine.
Okay, and to introduce or talk about a person by their ethnicity first and then their name, that's offensive. And I don't appreciate what y'all did this evening. And obviously you use your First Amendment right to do so. Yeah. But I thought it was very offensive.
Israel first. We got it. Yep. We know who you side with.
Okay.
Hold on. Ms. Hanley.
5 years in jail for posting the anti-Semitic flyer in Florida? They got you. Anybody that has a right to protest has a right to free speech, a right to freedom of expression, and a right to have an opinion. This is why people can call black people monkeys and coons and jigaboos and blackie and darkie and the N-word. They can say all these negative things about black people, but they're not going to go to jail for it. Think about what just took place in America, and the Jews are not done either.
Any candidate running for a seat in this building, whether for Congress or Senate, whose platform includes anti-Semitism,
Yeah.
we will target them as they target us.
Okay, the flag.
Accordingly, we will start a fund to help their opponents. We will start a fund to help their opponents. We cannot passively sit by and let anti-Zionists determine our future. None of this will be easy. It will take time and effort from all of us. And Jews cannot fight this fight alone. And Jews cannot fight this fight alone. Frankly, we shouldn't have to, because this is not a Jewish issue. It's a democratic issue. It's a moral issue. It's a human issue. Let us build a coalition so strong, so united, so determined that no extremist movement can fracture it.
No, it's difficult to hear, but it's time to limit the First Amendment in order to protect it, and quickly before it's too late.
What do you mean?
I mean that we need to control the platforms.
And the most important purchase that is going on right now is glass.
So that means I better stop it then. Okay, we'll do next video. This one is a little longer than normal. It's 22.
John Thune is seeing his political fate
23.
and doing what I said he was going to do, which is he is now planning to file for cloture on the Save America Act and these amendments which have been added to it, which adds mail-in restrictions, limiting mail-in ballots, no men and women's sports, no transgender mutilation for kids. And so we are in a situation now where the Save America Act, which has bipartisan support, it's an 85% issue with the American people, is going to be shut down in the Senate. And this is going to be like, I'm telling you right now, this is going to be like the biggest Senate rhino establishment circle jerk that you've ever witnessed in your life. And they are going to allow this bill to die. Then after the bill dies, I predict that they have a bit of a trick up their sleeve that they're going to try to pull over on the American people to try to pacify and appease us after failing to get the actual Save America bill passed. And it's going to blow up right in Thune's face. And I'm telling you right now, they think that we're too stupid and uninformed to see exactly what they're doing, and they think they're going to get away with it. But ladies and gentlemen, I know for a fact that you guys are not stupid, and like me, you're sick and tired of being jerked around by the rhino establishment uniparty, and you're not going to stand for this. And I think this is that moment where enough is enough. But first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, I want to walk you guys through what's going on today. And I want to tell you my prediction for what's going to happen next after they kill the bill in the Senate. Because I'm telling you, they've got a plan. They have a trick up their sleeve that they're going to try to utilize to make all of you people out there that have been demanding election integrity, free and fair elections, they're going to try to pull something, and their intention is that they're going to serve us all up a turd sandwich and expect us to all just go away, shut up, and be happy with the turd sandwich that they just gave us. But that's not what's going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to make sure of it. So stick with me on this one. And before we get into this, be sure to like the video and subscribe, turn the bell notifications on, all that jazz. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So a lot of you guys often say in the comment section that you appreciate when I explain things in simple terms so that we all, because I understand some of these things going on are complex. And this is how rhinos like John Thune get away with what they do, because they use, these tactics to confuse you, and they're very good at putting on an act that makes it appear like they're doing something when in fact they're not. And I see this on X. There's a lot of people that actually think the Save America Act is going to pass, when clearly it's not, and it's intended to fail. And John Thune knows exactly what he's doing. So I want to just first and foremost break down what's happening right now. And then we'll get into why this is going to backfire big time. So we know the Save America Act is this big Republican election integrity bill that's already passed the House, and its main goal is voter ID and proof of citizenship, like a birth certificate or passport, to make sure you are a U.S. citizen when you register to vote in federal elections, right? But we know that Trump has asked for some amendments to the bill. He wanted he put like a 5-point, like critical points that should be packed into the Save America Act to make it, even better, including limiting and restricting the use of mail-in ballots, no trans surgeries for kids, and no men and women's sports, which, I personally think, we could have gotten away with keeping this an election integrity bill and not and worry about that other stuff later. But I understand the logic behind it. This is like the one big, beautiful Save America bill that is packed, jam-packed, action-packed with lots of stuff that we as Americans want, right? Well, the Democrats are filibustering the whole thing, and they're using the zombie filibuster, not the talking filibuster that we've been fighting for, but the zombie or silent filibuster, and they are debating a little bit on the floor. And you see Chuck Schumer, talking about Jim Crow 2.0, and you see John Thune talking about how, voter ID is so important and this is an 85% issue. You got Republicans like Josh Hawley on Fox News saying the only reason that the Democrats don't want this is because they want to cheat in elections. And it's all this rah-rah crap from both sides. But the reality is, once the Democrats filibuster under the current Senate rules, they do not have to stand and debate on the Senate floor any more than they want to. And they can keep things in the debate stage for as long as they want to, basically forever. And the only way to end the debate and actually vote on the bill is by filing for cloture, which requires 60 votes to end the debate and then vote on the bill. So if you don't have 60 votes, then the Democrats can keep us in a perpetual stage of debate forever, which means effectively they can block the bill from being voted on by the majority. Now, if cloture on the big amendment fails, which everybody expects, it needs 60 votes again, and we're not there. We definitely don't have 60 votes. So here's what happens next. In super simple terms, the loaded version with these amendments dies, or it gets killed instantly. The giant amendment with the mail-in ballot restrictions and the no men and women's sports and all that stuff, that dies without the 60 votes. And the Democrats just keep filibustering forever. Now, at that point, then we're going to go back to the original version of the bill. The Senate can go right back to the so-called clean original Save America Act with the voter ID and the proof of citizenship, which, by the way, already passed the House. And then Thune can file cloture on that version next. But that's also going to fail. So the original bill still needs to break the 60 votes to break the filibuster. And it's almost certainly going to get the same 51, 53 Republican votes and die because we can't hit that 60 vote threshold. And so this, of course, as we've said ad nauseum on this channel over and over and over, is fake fighting from the Republicans. John Thune, Mitch McConnell 2.0, this was always his intention. He said we were going to have a vote on the bill, but we're not going to use the talking filibuster because we just don't have the votes to change the Senate rules. There's a lot of senators that are not on board with changing the filibuster. But we already know, as we've dove into multiple times on this channel, that John Thune doesn't actually need the majority of the Senate to vote on a talking filibuster. He can actually take the existing rules and he can decide to reinterpret them and change them and schedule a talking filibuster. Like, he can actually do it himself as the Senate majority leader without requiring a majority vote in the Senate. So we already know he has the mechanism to do it. And we know, thanks to Senator John Kennedy, that there's a secondary mechanism which can be used to get the provisions in the Save America bill passed by pushing the bill through reconciliation, which reconciliation is where the Senate, they take the budget and they kind of restructure it, where our money's going and whatnot. And it's a budget reconciliation bill, which gets passed once or twice a year. Well, Senator John Kennedy is saying the reconciliation bill only needs a majority vote. Like, there's no filibustering with that. So we can actually pack these provisions that we're trying to get into the reconciliation package, and that way we get these provisions passed without needing to overcome that 60 vote threshold. Now, he says that it's not as simple as it sounds. He even admits that, because the reconciliation bill, you can only put things in it that have to do with the budget. So we would have to consult with some attorneys to figure out how we can actually get this done through the reconciliation. And it's not as simple as just taking the whole Save America bill and putting it in the reconciliation package and then sending it on its way to get voted on by the majority. It just doesn't work that simply. But he's making a case for, if this is really that important to us and the majority of the Senate supports the Save America bill, then why don't we at least try? Why don't we try to get some attorneys to, consult with to figure out how we can do this if it's really that important? And so he makes a very good case. Like, if it's so important, if we all support it, if we want the Save America Act passed, why aren't we at least trying to use creative mechanisms to make it happen? We have Anna Paulina Luna, one of the House Republicans, saying we could attach it to the FISA bill, which is the funding bill for FISA, which we know is like a must pass. They're definitely not going to allow that to get shut down because we need to continue our surveillance on countering terrorism, right? So there's so many different avenues that John Thune has to get this bill through, yet he refuses to even bother to try to get any of them accomplished. He's not even taking a vote. Let's say for the sake of argument that you do need a majority vote to change the Senate rules to use the talking filibuster.
That one's a boring one. Is that all right, you guys? Move on to the next one. You'll like this one.
Walmart, are you hiring
Walmart
kindergartners to
time.
decorate your cakes now?
This is what I received today. It looked like it tried to be a balloon animal and ended up being a crime scene with icing.
So let me tell you about the moment that I almost had a full-blown Walmart bakery meltdown. My son's birthday was coming up, and like any responsible parent who absolutely did not procrastinate, I waited until the last minute to order a cake from, any other bakery that I would rather go to that's not Walmart. But the bad news was I had waited too long and no other bakery would be able to get the cake done in time. My son's birthday must be in a busy birthday month. I don't know. But the good news was that Walmart could get his cake done just in the nick of time. But the bad news was that Walmart would also get it done on time, but terribly. My son's birthday cake order was so incredibly simple. I think that's why I, admittedly procrastinated. I figured that like anybody could do this cake. It was so incredibly simple. My youngest son loves the moon. Like, he likes the moon phases. He's currently obsessed with the moon. He likes to look at it through the telescope. He's got the moon lights in his room. He's got a moon lamp. He loves the moon. All I wanted was a cupcake cake that was in a circle that looked like the moon. That's it. Super simple, right? One might even say painfully simple. Gray icing, a few dark craters, nothing complicated. Basically a gray circle with dots. Okay, so tell me why went to go pick up his cake. Tell me why it looked like this. This was the cake, okay? This was the cake. They couldn't even make a circle. What's with all the squigglies? The squigglies. Since when is the moon in the shape of squiggly lines? The craters looked like one of my cats aggressively wiped their butt across the cake, okay? And I was supposed to give this to my son for his birthday, the moon cake that he wanted. We refused to leave with it. Just being real. I was one of those people. I said, hell no. Nope, 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 nope. Luckily, the bakery manager was there, and apparently she knew how bad it was because she had told my husband, you guys were early. I saw the cake. I was planning to fix it before you got here. Because admittedly, we were early to pick up the cake. But the fact that the bakery manager claimed that she saw it and was planning to, quote, fix it before we got there, and we just got there too soon. Yeah, she fixed it, and now it looks like this. It's not exactly what I wanted, but it's a hell of a lot better than what we originally had. This entire personal situation got me wondering, is this just my Walmart bakery, or are Walmart bakeries out there terrorizing birthdays nationwide? So I did what any normal person would do, and I went to TikTok. And let me tell you something. Apparently, Walmart cake fails are its own genre. So today we're going to take a look at some cake disasters, courtesy of Walmart, and we're going to see exactly how Walmart is ruining birthdays, one cake at a time.
So I went to Walmart to pick up my daughter's birthday cake, and y'all, tell me why it says happy third birthday, Sabrina. Third, not third, but third, T-H. And don't even get me started on the handwriting. It looks like a toddler iced it during snack time. But you know what? I approved it. Yep, I did. I smiled and said thank you and walked away like everything was fine because we were already running late and I was not about to let a cake ruin my baby's day. This is actually my first time ordering a cake from Walmart. I usually go to Sam's Club, but I figured same parent company, same quality, right? Wrong. But hey, memories were made. Sabrina had her cake and now she's the proud owner of the most iconic third birthday in history. Moral of the story, stick to Sam's, or maybe just learn cake decorating at this point.
OMG, they owe you a free cake. Now that looked like it was an 8 and they picked off the pieces to make it look like a 3. I kind of noticed that too.
When Walmart does a shitty job on a smash cake you ordered in checkered, and this is what they give you. It looks pink and purple. And it looks like shit. Hence why it was only $15.
I don't care if it's only $15. You paid money for a cake that looks like shit. It really did. It's Walmart. What do you expect? $15 is a great deal. What? I'm a Walmart decorator and I would never have let that leave. That's horrible. I'm so sorry they did you wrong. $15, LOL. What else did you expect? Apparently we expect too much. It is Walmart after all.
I have been getting Walmart cakes for years. My son is turning 13. This is his probably 13th cake from Walmart. But this is what he wanted this year. A little balloon animal. Cute, right? Simple, easy. Let's see what we got. This is what I received today. This is what I received today. Like, tell me if I'm true. Like, it looked like she wrote this shit with her left hand. Like, look how chopped and screwed this thing is. Like, look at the little lines. Like, wait till you see them. You see how this one's crisscrossed? We got a gap here. She was drawing this shit with her left hand. I'm convinced. So here I go. Asking ChatGPT, am I f***ing tripping? Is this cake ugly? And she said it looked like it tried to be a balloon animal and ended up being a crime scene with icing. And she also said it looks like a sad balloon dog. This is nothing like this. Like, that freaking balloon animal is obese. Like, what is going on?
Now, when I say you missing out, you missing out. You missing out on me making something for you. Why you ain't let me?
Happy birthday, cursive middle lowercase. What?
Here's a fun one. Guys, pretend like you're holding up the building behind you. Make sure. Yeah. That's great. Okay.
Wait, who did that?
I know it's kind of bad.
Yeah, that's terrible.
He thought it was a joke. Nope, that's the cake they made for your anniversary.
She ordered a birthday cake and gave instructions of what she wanted on it. And as Amber Cogliano reports,
wow. These stories hit the news, like the legit news.
those instructions were followed to a T.
This woman ordered a birthday cake from her local Walmart.
The cake was for my 22nd birthday. I'm not really a cake person, actually, so I kind of just wanted it to take some pictures with it.
The order should have been a piece of, well, cake. Peyton Shamak had asked for a simple white cake like this with custom ordered icing.
I wanted it to say Aries baby, and then in parentheses, I put small cursive middle of cake.
2 days later, Peyton and a friend picked up the pastry and got quite a shock when they opened the box.
Right away, we looked at it and we're like, why is there so many words? And then we saw what it said and we just bursted out laughing.
So what did the cake say? Well, in addition to Aries baby, which Peyton had asked for, the Walmart bakery team also put the directions literally in big black bold icing.
Is there no common sense here? Seriously? You really think you want something like that written on the cake? Really?
So I'm walking through Walmart and I always try to look for a cake that kind of represents how I'm feeling about life and stuff. And I think I found it. So I'm walking through Walmart and
that cake speaks volumes. Nailed it. That cake's a whole mood. $58? I had to because I saw it at $49.99 and that would drive me crazy seeing that. That's how much it was?
A cake that
I didn't even notice that. Oh, it does say $58. What? Oh, come on. Nope. No, not $58 for that.
So somebody wanted me to write happy birthday on a cake. And I was like, okay, not that good, but I'll try. So I wrote happy birthday. And then she took it. And then 2 minutes later, she came back. I'm not going to take this cake after all. I was like, okay, just leave it right on the counter. Didn't she like my writing? What's wrong with it? It looks pretty damn good to me, even though it's crooked. Looks pretty to me.
No. No wonder they put the shit back and they're like, no, thank you. How do you work in bakery and can't do bakery things? It's giving third grade. She wanted it in cursive. Is that a murder cake?
Oh my god, okay. This is what I wanted, okay? This is the pastels, and this is what I got. Oh my god.
I am genuinely trying so hard not to cry right now because I came to Walmart to get my daughter's birthday cake and I ordered a Lilo and Stitch cupcake cake, and it is not the cupcake cake. It's literally just cupcakes. I had very specific.
Yeah, and so not only are there cake decorating fails, but people aren't even getting the stuff that they ask for. It's blatantly obvious when you request a cupcake cake. She probably even referenced the Lilo and Stitch cupcake cake that they sell, and they just gave her cupcakes. And then what do you do? You're just they can't just magically make it a cake. You gotta take your cake to the birthday party or whatever. Just dang.
Hey guys, it's me again. You know, the Walmart tree girl that never showed you the tree that was so jacked up and made me upset. Guess what? I love Walmart. My lady who usually makes my cakes for my birthday has been making them since I was a kid, and she is very, very sick right now. So I had to find somebody else to do my cake. And I've always dreamed of a magical, awesome cake for my 40th birthday. And it might sound stupid to some of y'all, but to me it's not. I think of this as like a wedding cake, and it makes me look special because I never had a wedding or a wedding cake, you know, something crazy and I don't know, special. And I love pink. Whitney Houston, I want to dance with somebody. If you follow me, you know it's my jam, and that's just what I feel like for my 40th. This is my birthday weekend. So I'm going to green screen in what I ordered. And this was a $75 cake, guys. And this isn't a third party. This is Walmart. I ordered it from my Walmart, walked into my Walmart, and picked up this cake. Not to mention when I ordered it, I came the same day to pick up some other things. And the lady's like, you just ordered it? I was like, yeah. She's like, I'm fixing to walk out. She was like, I can't do any more cakes. And I really needed a cake. And I'm like, can you please do this for me? It's my 40th. You know, it's something so special. I really want this, you know, please. And she's like, okay, what do you want? And I showed her the cake, what I ordered. I did tell her I wanted light pink and not the pink that's in the picture. But that doesn't matter. Wait till you see what it looks like. So let me green screen in the stock picture. All right, guys, here's the stock picture. Look how magical, beautiful, 40th. Oh, I'm shining. I want to dance with somebody. Type Dolly Parton, badass cake. Amazing. Sparkles, shiny, rhinestones, whatever. Let me show you what it looks like. And please come in the comments like you did the Christmas tree because I'm showing you what the cake looked like. This is the stock picture. All right, here's the picture. Can we say, Walmart, are you hiring kindergartners to decorate your cakes now? Because I'm pretty sure if you work in the bakery, you have to have some kind of sense on how to decorate a cake.
You'd think.
Because I would never apply for that job because I can't even bake a cake. So that's why I order them. Here it is, guys. Yeah. Top, crooked. Where are these diamonds? What is this? The rhinestone kit from the dollar store? And why are we writing on rhinestones? And what is that? Hap Y 40th? I want to dance with somebody. Oh, what's that? Oh, let's just push that and fix all the rhinestones. That's what they did. Yeah, there's my cake. And yes, I wanted it to be special for my 40th. If you think it looks great, go buy you one. But this pissed me off. But
oh my God, that was $75? Your first clue was I can't make any more cakes today. I would have walked away. Yeah. So, okay, I understand that she's saying like, this was my 40th birthday. It was really important to me. I wanted to have this cake. But then she's trying to rush it. Like, I don't know. I guess if it were me and I was celebrating my 40th birthday and this cake was so important to me, I probably would have ordered it not last minute, says the person that ordered her son's cake last minute. I get it. You know, I get the irony here. But she was talking about like she had been envisioning her 40th birthday and having this cake. But yeah, I agree with this comment from Leslie. Your first clue was I can't make any more cakes today. Yeah, and it looks like she couldn't make any more cakes today. I'm confused. If you ordered it and went and got it the same day, that's odd because they normally don't do same day cakes. You have to order a few days ahead. Exactly. That doesn't really make a lot of sense. That's what's telling me that like she ordered it like super duper last minute. Why go to Walmart for such complicated design? In her defense, Walmart offered it. It's not like she, you know, went to the Walmart bakery and was like, make me this elaborate cake. She literally had a stock photo from Walmart's own website, which you would think in theory means they have the ability to do it, which clearly they didn't. That cake looks like shit. I don't know how to say this, but you went to Walmart. You should have planned ahead. It's not as bad as I thought for a last minute order. No, it's bad. That's bad cake. Bad cake. Have you ever had a Walmart cake fail?
What do you guys think of that? Where do most people get their cakes at? I sometimes do, but Sam's Club or Dairy Queen. Dairy Queen has the ice cream cake. I got some short ones now. Under 5.
Before we turned into Europe. I dove deeper and looked into some housing. Several homes are being bought. The owner is returning to India and renting out every room. Some of these homes are even listed as homesteaded on the CAD tax-wise, even though it's being used as a mini apartment building with the owner in India. And that makes sense, considering all the tech companies hiring H-1B employees that are being ran out of them. This advertisement says they will sell a home to an Indian family for $136,000 less than the advertised price. Registered LLCs are buying up properties in Collin County and only selling to Indians and Muslims. It's right here. There is clear and consistent housing discrimination going on, and the major demographics change is further proof of this. Harry Whalen flew to India to beg them all to come here. There is something like 22,000 H-1B filings in the Frisco area alone. I thought city council was supposed to represent the taxpayers. I'm pretty sure nobody voted to be replaced with India, yet here we are, and this is starting to affect the surrounding cities. I'm going to stand up for the white kids for a second because I've got 2 of them. And my daughters don't know where they fit into it in this country anymore because of what's going on. In 1999, Frisco was a rapidly growing suburban district with a predominantly white demographic. TOS test scores exceeded the state averages, and the district gained recognition for quality schools. These kids are now being not intelligent enough to work in their own country. Microsoft, Apple, Google, Facebook, NVIDIA, all American-made companies. Dell was founded by a University of Texas at Austin graduate. William Higginbotham of Connecticut created the first video game. Steve Russell, an MIT student, created Spaceway, the first game to be played across multiple installations. I could go on and on. Americans are forefront, top-tier innovators and inventors. Why is our own government failing us and letting other countries take away our jobs and not investing into its own people? The Texas House passed House Bill 2038, streamlining foreign doctors into our system. When our own federal government capped spending to fund required residency for its own American doctors in 1997, we need to support our American doctors. On my dad's side, I'm a Texan through and through. I have a county named after my family. My brother serves in the United States Navy to support my right to free speech. On my mom's side, I'm a 3rd-generation Italian immigrant. When my Italian family came here from Sicily, they did not get government handouts. There was no welfare, no direct job placement just for being Italian. They had to learn English and create work for themselves out of thin air. They had to become innovative and embody the American spirit of creating something out of nothing. They spoke Italian and celebrated their heritage at home. But the moment they walked out of the front door, they were Americans first. This is my pop-pop. Look at that American flag. That's the difference between the immigrants back in the day and the immigrants coming now. I'm really confused as to what country we live in. These people are coming here, they're taking away jobs, they're piggybacking on systems that were already built and put into place. We need to bring back the American worker, support our American companies, doctors, and future generations instead of just giving our country away. Greg Abbott, if you hear this, you're a coward for selling out Texas the way you did. Frisco City Council is even worse for exploiting the city and surrounding areas for profit over its own Texan kids and citizens. Was Harry Whalen aware that the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom is calling our government to name India a country of particular concern? They are dragging Christian preachers in the streets, beating them with bats, and forcing them to eat cow dung. You guys only care about money, not the aftermath of bringing a culture here that isn't assimilating and could care less about America. Texas isn't just one big business park. It's our home. It's our legacy to pass down to our children. The land, the natural resources, the water. Texas needs to be treated as more than an investment for foreign interest. Our traditions and our country matter, but will not survive at this rate of infiltration. I hope the money is worth it. God bless y'all.
How was that one, you guys? Okay, fine, go. I don't know about this one. This is a different one, I think.
In Georgia, there is a town called Social Circle, and it's right outside of
this other day?
And ICE has just purchased a new facility there, and the city officials have cut off all the utilities. And they're afraid the infrastructure of the town will not support the town and the ICE facility. And the reason is it will hold 10,000 illegals. I saw a drone video of it. It is massive. It's like 20 of the hugest Costco's. I mean, it's just huge. So this is not a temporary thing. This is not for 2 years. Let's say blue gets back in, they'll shut these down. No, this is a permanent thing. And in Texas, Governor Abbott says he's aware of Sharia courts operating in Dallas and Collin counties. But don't worry, he's like Bondi, he sent them a strongly worded letter letting them know that goes against the Texas Constitution. Told you. And in California, Riverside County, public school district called Valle Verde Unified, has been caught issuing official California diplomas with official district seals and superintendent signatures to students living in China who've never been anywhere near California or these schools. And what they've been doing.
Now, was this a repeat, you guys, or what? It said 19 hours. We might have played it. I don't know if anybody will continue.
Is these unvetted schools that California hasn't even checked out are buying these diplomas, and then they're giving them to, or these schools are taking them in China, and they're telling the parents that they can give these kids these diplomas and get them in the top 100 Ivy League schools here. And while all this is happening in California with Blue, the administration that's allowing this is taking free trips to China and back. They're getting free gifts. And in Texas, there's been a thing. It's starting that people are starting to gather around where the pagans are praying. And they're, saying the Lord's Prayer. They're starting to sing, different church hymns. And they're basically telling them we're a Christian country. And making them as comfortable as they're making us, which is good. And the FCC, Brendan Carr, has put every public broadcasting network on notice. 47 stations across all states. I think there's 12 something. But basically, he's put ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, all of them on notice. And what he said is, if you keep, basically spewing propaganda, an example of the 5 planes that were destroyed that really weren't, their licenses are going to be revoked. Or the ones that are going to be renewed are not going to be renewed. So that's going to put the end to that. So apparently he took, or he's taken what Trump said to heart and basically given them a warning. And in New York and Albany, they've introduced a bill called the New York State Dark Skies Protection Act. And what it's supposed to do is reduce light pollution, conserve energy, protect wildlife, and preserve the views of the night skies. So all lights have to be out by 11 p.m., exterior lights. This includes apartments, homes of all kinds, and even, commercial buildings and office buildings. So that when everybody turn out their lights outside by 11, and they can't come back on or they have to stay off until sunrise. Everywhere. And if you don't do this, it's a $250 to $500 fine. Oh yeah, that won't cause any crime problems. And in Spain, there was a man who tried to hack into his, let's say, Roomba, the vacuums that, kind of just roam around the rooms. He tried to hack into his own and accidentally hacked into 7,000 of them. And he was able to connect to video that were in these vacuums. He could see into all these different places. And apparently what he did was he discovered a back door that China had that they could get in and see what everybody was doing in their houses. So yeah, I'd be careful if you have one of those vacuums. And in Texas, someone shared a picture of 2 signs at an intersection. One was called Salama Jamil, and the other street was called Ali Akbar. Yeah, we need to stop that. And a federal, Dem judge has just reinstated over 50 unnecessary shots for children, including hepatitis B for newborns. And he temporarily banned the ACIP. It's an advisory committee on immunization for the CDC. So he's banned them temporarily. Why would you do that? And in France, Marine Le Pen has announced anyone connected to Islam ideology must be stripped of their nationality and expelled. Radical mosque will be shut down and the Muslim Brotherhood will be dissolved. And in Michigan, it's been discovered there are 250,000 unemployed American citizens, while there's 400,000 plus foreign workers there. Not only that, but there's 12,000 STEM college graduates looking for jobs, and there's 75,000 foreign H-1B visa holders that have those same STEM jobs. And also in Texas, this is a good sign, they just passed a law that anybody renewing any license, from HVAC to hairdressing to real estate to anything, when they renew their license or go to get a license, they have to flat out show their citizenship or they're not getting it. And there was a study done by SuperGrok, ChatGPT-5, and Google Gemini, all did independent studies, and they all found that the vaccines cause autism in children.
Okay, I hope that one was okay. If a lot of people, not sure if everyone saw that.
Portsmouth, Ohio has that
Under 2
with
minutes.
drug rehabs. Wow, you guys weren't kidding. I've had 3 or 4 of you send me messages about the rehab situation in Portsmouth, Ohio. And I actually have family down there, so I know a little bit about it, but had no clue it was this bad. And you know me, I had to go digging, and I found a few of them on the MedicaidOpenData.org website. And of course, we're talking hundreds of millions of dollars. I don't even have to show you the graphs at this point. You already know what they look like. And the biggest one down there, the Scioto County Counseling Center, has billed Medicaid almost $200 million over the last 7 years on over 2 million claims under 3 different NPI numbers. And this other one I found, the Phoenix Group Home, has billed $99 million. And when I get a little bit more time, I'll start digging into some of the others. And since I spend a little bit of time down there because of family and stuff, I'll start doing a series down there too if you guys want. Just let me know in the comments. And I've also considered going live maybe once a week for an hour or so and helping people research companies in their area and kind of show others how I do it in case they want to do the same in their areas. Or if there was something else we wanted to cover, maybe do that. I'm open to some ideas. Let me know what you guys think about that. My stickers will be here Monday. And in the meantime...
Yeah, that's a new one on TikTok. Was good. That was a good one. I'm not sure if we played this one or not.
Indefinitely for the first time in the history of Christianity. Holy Week and Easter services will be prohibited. Sunday services are canceled. Now, this church is supposed to be on the site where Jesus was crucified and buried. And with everything going on in the world, it doesn't surprise me. The closer we get to tribulation, the more hate we see. I mean, just look at the body of Christ. In the last few years, the number of scoffers has increased dramatically. Remember, the Lord Jesus said that we will be hated just like he was. When you speak truth, you will get hate and you will have scoffers. I mean, all you have to do is go into my comments alone and you will see the scoffers. And then I found this article from March the 8th, how the rapture explains the rupture over Israel on the right. And we've seen this in articles before, how they blame our catching away as anti-Semitic. There's a reason why Satan hates the idea of a rapture so much. And I feel so sorry for the people who do not see the truth. This is just more proof of the times we're in. There's going to be more scoffers. There's going to be more hate. Remember, during the tribulation, people are going to die because of their belief in Christ. And remember, the Bible says that the Jays are going to be provoked to jealousy, because when the rapture happens, they're going to realize they were left. They're going to realize that they were wrong. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. Start a relationship with him today. The Bible says that if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe that he died, was buried, and rose again for the remission of your sins, you will be saved. Don't wait until it's too late. The signs are everywhere.
Okay, one more with her.
Missing the MIT plasma physicist that was murdered, the Caltech astrophysicist that was murdered, and as of February the 27th, we have a retired Air Force Major General that has vanished, and he's associated with UFO programs. This guy right here, he vanished but took his hiking boots, wallet, and his gun. Almost like he knew he was next. All three of these scientists study planetary catastrophes. And now we have reports of a boom in Ohio with a 17,000-pound meteor that came crashing down yesterday.
Here in the U.S. tonight into this incredible sight seen in several states, a 7-ton meteor shooting across the sky. The sonic boom heard over multiple states. The meteor 6 feet in diameter, the ground shaking. Here's Rhiannon Alley tonight.
Tonight, NASA says this bright red fireball streaking through the sky, moving at 40,000 miles per hour and seen from at least 10 states is a rare daylight meteor crashing into Earth.
Oh, what the was that?
And that's not even the only one. Watch this. It's about a student who discovered a planet-killing comet on a direct collision course with Earth. In the movie, nobody took it serious. Now, do y'all remember the movie Don't Look Up? Now, y'all know I have to bring in prophecy with this, so let's go to Isaiah chapter 34, verse 4. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their host shall fall down as the leaf falleth off from the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. Now, the word used for host or stars is Seba, which means a mass of persons organized for war or a campaign. So they're going to fall from heaven and melt or vanish. So let's go to Revelation chapter 6, verse 13. It says, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken of a mighty wind. This is the same prophecy, just written by different authors. The word for stars in this verse is asteris, asteroids. This very well may be just another sign of prophecy. Listen up. Do y'all remember the other day when I was talking about the scientists that have gone missing?
Okay, 2 good ones from her. We got a 10-minute video and a couple more Doug videos. What happened?
Partners, a love story.
What's up, guys? Benny. There's so much corruption and just outright theft in California. It's easy to just glaze over when you hear about more of it, but this one's really bad. Gavin Newsom's wife pushed for weird gender films, California classrooms, paying herself a fortune. Get ready for the name Sybil Newsom and her insufferable movie activism. She always wanted to be a movie star. Whew, man. And she married Gavin Newsom, the second wife. She's had a really rough go of it. She's a bit of a liability to Gavin, I got to tell you, because she's like going to bring down his presidential aspirations before he even gets rolling. She pocketed $3.7 million for her gender stereotypes charity, paid herself from the state. She's also one of these weird Weinstein girls who had, I was in Hollywood the other day working on this Gavin News, working on like a California fraud piece. I was meeting with these guys who are in the film industry, and they told me all about Sybil Newsom. They told me Jennifer Sybil Newsom. They told me all about her. They knew her from the Weinstein days, and they said these allegations that she was actually she was like just literally sucking up to Harvey Weinstein in order to get famous in Hollywood. Like every other chick, like they all just knew what the deal was, and they were down with it. That's what they say about Sybil Newsom. Sybil Newsom was one of the several accusers, Harvey Weinstein, in a criminal rape case. Jury said, no. It was consensual transactional sex, and they were unable to reach a verdict. Rose McGowan, who is the main whistleblower on the whole Harvey Weinstein thing, claimed that Sybil Newsom tried to bribe her to stay quiet. She's actually one of these Harvey Weinstein assistants, you might say. Anyway, she's turning out to be a bit of a liability for Gavin, as you can imagine. And not only is she looting the charities of, not only is she looting the treasury for her own charities, but she's also going like psychotic in recent interviews, talking about what you can learn from same-sex couples, calling gender a spectrum and attacking Christians. Oh, try and bring that to the swing states of America. This is what Democrats want to make your first lady.
It's just pulling us back. There's so much to learn from same-sex couples who have learned to communicate and who also are like, well, look, you know, someone's got to do the care work in a same-sex male couple. Someone's got to do that. So I'm just going to do it. And this is like, and not be afraid or ashamed because it's part of being human. We're all on a spectrum, right? It's just how society kind of pushes us and pressures us into these limiting gender roles. But again, the folks on the far right, they're missing is just this, they're living in this silo, this evangelical conservative silo that ultimately it's just pulling us back as a country to a time and a place where we don't deserve to be, and we're not going to be, because honestly, young women and fathers of daughters are awake now and they're woke and they're not going to let us go back. And so I have so much hope because of that. And obviously California has a huge responsibility to lead. There's so much.
So a couple things. First is called seppuku eyes, right? It's when you have eyes like that. Like how many SSRIs you got to be on to have eyes like that, man? She is one of these just sociopaths. I can't believe that this is a modern day interview talking about wokeness, attacking Christians. Like you are stuck. You're like stuck in a time warp back to 2021. Talking about the ascendancy of.
If it is invalid, we promise a tenfold refund. This denture can be successfully worn in just 1 second and is suitable for everyone.
Of woke?
6 minutes.
Well, who are you, lady? I mean, I get it that you live in San Francisco. You know, you live inside of the most sealed bubble possible. But the country is like very much moved on from these policies, and this is no longer in fashion. And this is gonna be just a wild 2028. Look at that. That's what you got to be scared of, right there. Seppuku eyes. Where you have like when you have the giant eyes, like these are very unhappy people. She's also, she also like victim blamed. She pulled the whole Harvey Weinstein thing when Gavin Newsom was caught banging his secretary. She was married at the time. She attacked the secretary. She attacked her. She's pulled this whole like grotesque.
Get up there.
Victim blaming Harvey Weinstein operator card before. She's like really evil, and people want to make her our next first lady. Look at this. She's as crazy as a lunatic, any white liberal woman out there. But there's more. Here we go.
What I will
Always
say
more.
is that
Here's
I don't know if our country
first partner
is ready for first partner.
Okay.
Sadly, I don't know if they are. I'd like to think, and I'm going to work really, 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 really hard for people to see
there they are again.
what's been
Her
rendered
eyes.
invisible and devalued in our society, and to go, oh, that's actually important. It's not always a woman behind a man, but the partnership is what's important, and then partnership will make the world go round. That said,